Hey, what's up, forum? It's Grill Hands, and today I'm going to be talking about the trailer for Arkham City that was just released yesterday. It is the sequel to the popular game Batman Arkham Asylum. And at the beginning of this trailer, we are reintroduced to Hugo Strange, who provided the narrative for the previous Arkham City trailer. Although he may not be the most popular supervillain in the DC universe, he definitely could make for a formidable enemy for Batman in this game. I remember in the animated series, he played a psychiatrist, and he actually found out Batman's true identity as Bruce Wayne. And it seems like they're kind of taking a little bit from that storyline and bringing it into this game, because if you guys remember from the end of the Arkham City trailer, the previous one, it's revealed that Hugo Strange knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Had you ever considered that all this is your fault?
And that question that Hugo Strange seems to be asking Batman could give us a little insight into his overall role in Arkham City. And that is kind of playing the mind games with Batman, trying to toy with him, trying to make him doubt his existence in the first place, to see if make Batman even think he's truly helping Gotham City. And that question also is a popular question amongst comic book fans. Does the existence of superheroes in turn create supervillains? And that really has a lot of application in the Batman universe, simply because in a lot of different storylines, the Joker was created by Batman. And their relationship, Joker stated, as long as Batman's alive, I'm going to be around, kicking and screaming and messing with him. But if Batman dies, then I'm going to die. So, maybe Hugo's trying to play on that and trying to basically dethrone Batman using a mental angle.
Your presence creates these animals.
These guys that look kind of similar to special operatives, they look like they could be the same group that was working for Hugo Strange in the previous Arkham City trailer. But that's actually not the highlight of this freeze frame right here. It's actually the guy they're kicking. And I've heard rumors that this could be the Black Mask. And I could see, where they came from, because if you look at the back of his head, it does look like the similar Black Mask that he does wear in the comic books. So maybe we have, confirmation of another supervillain in Arkham City. And right here we're introduced to the infamous Arkham City. It's been about 18 months since the events that transpired in Arkham Asylum, in which Batman stopped the Joker and several other supervillains from escaping that penitentiary. The problem is, although Batman foiled their plans, the former warden for Arkham Asylum, Quincy Sharp, took credit for stopping the Joker, and he used that to become mayor of Gotham City. And as mayor, since Arkham Asylum is no longer capable of holding the inmates of Gotham, he actually takes a section of the city, he walls it off and throws all the inmates in there, and then he hires some private military contractors to do security detail. So he's effectively created a crime city inside of Gotham.
Confirmation that prisoner 40's in the courthouse.
Heads or tails, kitty cat?
And in that scene, we're introduced to two characters, the supervillain Two-Face and the sometimes good, sometimes bad Catwoman. Now, if we take a look back at this scene, we can see that Catwoman is in a pretty sticky situation. And the reason for that is the Joker's in a weakened state. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of the events at the end of Arkham Asylum or something else has weakened the Joker. But because of that, the other supervillains know. They know the Joker doesn't have the same power over Gotham City that he once did. And they're trying to gain status. They're trying to take control from the Joker. And right here, Two-Face is trying to gain status among the inmates by publicly executing Catwoman. And that is kind of the jumping off point for Batman. He sees Catwoman is going to be killed, and that is his reason for going into Arkham City. And if you listen very closely, the voice actor in this scene sounds very familiar or very similar to Richard Mole, who was the voice actor for Two-Face in Batman the Animated Series. And I'm hearing unconfirmed rumors that he may be reprising his role for the Arkham City video game.
Kitty cat.
And right here, we're finally going to get a chance to see Batman in action in Arkham City. And that little flight pattern he did right there, that little move he did, I don't remember being able to do that in Arkham Asylum. So looks like they're going to add a couple new maneuvers and gliding techniques to kind of help you traverse Arkham City in this game. We also get a pretty nice angle of the bat symbol in the sky. And these next couple of scenes, we see the staples from the previous Arkham Asylum. The free-flowing combat that allows Batman to engage multiple enemies, the use of gadgets that are used both for detective work and in combat, and being able to grapple onto the helicopter like he did, either as a means of escape or some method of traversing Arkham City, is pretty badass in my opinion. And they're bringing back the stealth mechanics from Arkham Asylum, which is one of Batman's greatest strengths.
It would be a shame to get blood all over my nice new outfit.
And right here we get a chance to see Harley Quinn wearing a new attire for Arkham City. And like I said before, the Joker's been sick, and Harley Quinn has always been his right-hand girl. So maybe she's taken over control of Joker's goons while he's recovering. And maybe because he's in a weakened state, Harley's taking an advantage to kind of subvert her own sense of style, because she's ditched the jester-themed attire from the previous games and previous comic book incarnations and kind of gone with a different direction in this game. And these scenes showcase the free-flow combat that was made popular in Arkham Asylum. And it also shows the return of detective mode, which was utilized in that game as well. And when enabled, it put a little orange glow around the enemies, and it allowed Batman to see them regardless of the lighting in that room. And it also made it easier to find clues in crime scenes. But there were complaints associated with the detective mode, specifically the fact that people would turn it on at the beginning of the game and never saw a reason to turn it off. So they'd play the entire game with this blue glow across the screen. And the developers over at Rocksteady acknowledged that, and they're making some modifications to the detective mode so that you can actually appreciate the in-game colors and graphics a little bit more. So I don't think there's going to be as much blue effect anymore. I think the description they used was it was going to be an augmented reality. And since they've showcased some of the gadgets in here, they've also mentioned that you get to keep all of your gadgets at the very beginning of this game. One of the problems with action-adventure sequels is typically, like, say, for example, God of War, you end the game with all these badass powers and weapons, but at the beginning of your next game, for some reason, you lose them all. But that's different for Arkham City. You start off with all of the same gadgets and equipment you did at the end of Arkham Asylum. They're going to be tweaked and changed a little bit to cater to the kind of challenges that Batman's going to have to face in Arkham City. But you actually start off with them. The developer said it wouldn't make sense for Batman to acquire all this equipment and then for some reason lose it all at the beginning of the next game. So that could make for some interesting gameplay changes, and I'm looking forward to see what they do.
This place is dangerous. I like it.
And right here we get a chance to see a little interaction between Batman and Catwoman after Batman saved her life. And this can make for some very interesting story elements in the game just because they've shared such a unique relationship in the past. Catwoman's always teetered on the edge of good and evil, and because of that, Batman's treated her a little differently from other characters and other supervillains. And in some storylines, Catwoman has actually been the love interest of Batman's. So we'll have to see how Rocksteady leverages their checkered past in order to develop the story for Arkham City. And we end the trailer with a couple more scenes of Batman utilizing his gliding abilities to traverse Arkham City, and then conclude with that popular symbolic shot of Batman standing alone on the gargoyle overlooking Gotham City. And this game looks like it's coming along very well. It's going to be released October 18th, 2011, and I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be a pretty awesome game. If you guys want to see the unedited trailer, I'll include a link in the description, and stay tuned to the end of this because you're going to get a chance to see how sick the Joker really is. And as always, take it easy.
It was all a lie. There's nothing wrong with you.
Nice of you to say, but you of all people should know there's plenty wrong with me.